Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we go side by side with the PRL. We are coming to you live from Martinsville Speedway, bringing you the Smash A-Rama 200 by Austin Moore, part of round number 3 of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, courtesy of Gen X Racing. Check them out at genxracing.com. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu. I am accompanied by my good friend and button selector, Dave Everly. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Sean. Ready to see some short track action here at Martinsville. Love this track, bumping, banging. Can't wait to see it go down live here tonight.
Almost definitely 3 laps per minute. It will go by pretty quickly, and these guys will have to stay alert, be awake, hit their marks in order to be successful for the rest, for the full length of the race, 200 laps. And Dave, tell us a little bit about tonight's race, please. Weather-wise.
Well, taking a look at tonight's weather here at Martinsville, it is 65, a cool 65 degrees out. Track temperature right about 68 degrees. The wind west at 1 mile an hour under mostly cloudy conditions.
Yep, that track temp is very, very good for gripping here tonight. So these guys will have a little bit of luck when it comes down to some speed. And the drivers have a 60% fuel limit. That is 60%, which might give us at least 1 to 2 required pit stops in order for the drivers to make it. It is a short track, 0.53 miles, 0.5 miles for 200 laps. So we will make things extra interesting. Just to recap from last week's race, the Phantom Zone Designs at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We had Cody Knapmiller bring it home for his first win, and Cody Knapmiller did dominate all race long and led the most laps, and got a custom design by Phantom Zone Designs. So Cody Knapmiller won last week's race. Johnny Pierce came out second, Steven Johnston third, Markel Murphy fourth, Corey Blevins fifth, Dustin Hall sixth, Jason Ashby 7th, Christian Swenson 8th, Steven Mattox 9th, and Steven Aguiar did round up the top 10. Well, going to tonight's our current season standings points lead, we have Cody Miller taking over points lead. He went from 3rd place last week to 1st place this week. Jason Ashby still 2nd in points. Steven Aguiar going from the lead down to 3rd place in points. Markel Murphy from 8th place up to 4th. Sammy Holmes from 4th place to 5th. Steven Johnston new to the top 10 in 6th. Steven Mattox from 10th place to 7th. John LaBeouf tied with Christian Swenson for 8th place in points. Cotton Lane 9th from 6th to 9th. And Craig Hawkins is new to the top 10 and currently rounding up the top 10 in points. And looking at these drivers' teams, the drivers in the standings, top 10, we have Cody Miller representing Gen X Racing Team, Jason Ashby, Wrangler Motorsports, Steven Aguiar, Wrangler Motorsports, Markel Murphy, Flat Out Motorsports, that is Flat Out Motorsports, Sammy Holmes, Wrangler Motorsports. They did finish 1, 2, 3, the first race of the season at Daytona. Steven Johnston, Gen X Racing Team. Steven Mattox, Ford Lane Motorsports. We have John LaBeouf, No Fear Racing Team. That is No Fear Racing Team. Christian Swenson, Gen X Racing Team. Cotton Lane, Ford Lane Motorsports. Craig Hawkins, Aeronic Sim Racing. That is Aeronic Sim Racing. And that is 1st through 10th, respectively, once again, in the point standings. Well, going back to tonight's race, so far drivers are qualifying. We have 40 seconds left in the qualifying session before the red flag flies, ending the session. And so far, 42, Cody Miller taking over the pole. And last week's winner, Nat Miller. Let's see, Dave, how much competition he has for these drivers tonight. As tonight, it will be a lot of side-by-side and more close racing than we've seen all season long this far.
Well, considering that it's only a half-mile track, yeah, they're going to be close. We're going to have different braking points. We're going to see drivers maybe doing the old bump and run, the old Dale move. Basically coming into the corner, if they're faster and they won't get out of the way, you give them a little bump, slide them up the track, let you get down underneath and make the pass. So, but I'm excited. These drivers are excited. Looks like qualifying is now over, Sean.
Yeah, but we'll go over the starting grid here before too long. Let's give the drivers a few seconds before we go down that grid and we see you guys active in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Gonna try and get some names here. We have Lock Wicked. Good to see you again. I mean, good to see you this first time I've seen you, but it's good to see you there, buddy. And so far, that's it in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know who you're rooting for tonight. We have a very, very big field full of amazing drivers. 32 drivers starting tonight's race here, so it should be an amazing one. And a very, very short track. So it will be quite crowded, and we'll be seeing them spread out throughout the whole entire race. And your pole sitter, once again, he was also last week's pole sitter at Atlanta Motor Speedway, is Cody Miller. We have Jason Ashby 2nd, Steven Aguiar starting 3rd, 16 of Joni Pierce 4th, John LaBeouf 5th, Cotton Lane 6th, 45 of Eddie Hawks 7th, Paul D. Johnson 8th, 8 of Steven Johnston 9th, and that's going to be 43 of Steven Johnson 9th, Corey Blevins 10th, and so far that rounds up the top 10. Mark Gurdy 11th, Danny Duchesne 12th, Tom Chisholm 13th, James O'Brien 14th, Karsten Quint 15th, Steven Mattox 16th, Dale Robertson 17th, Christian Swenson 18th, and Dustin Hall being the last driver qualifying in 19th. 48 of Markel Murphy running up the top 20. 28 of Brandon Massey 21st, Sammy Holmes 22nd, 33 of David Dreckman 23rd, Craig Hawkins 24th, Aaron R. Groskov 25th, Austin Moore admin here at the Precision Racing League. We have Chris Perez starting 26th, Adam Chapman 27th, Jerome Berthom, I'm not sure if he's racing. We have Mike Taylor as well, Ron McManus, and Derek Pemberton. And that will round up the whole entire field here tonight. About 30 to 31 drivers starting tonight's race. We'll know here before too long, being led by, once again, Post Sitter. Actually, scratch that. Post Sitter is not on the grid. So it's going to pass over the inside to the 8 of Steven Aguiar. Behind him will be the 9-11 John LaBeouf. On the outside, the 5 of Jason Ashby, being pushed by the 16 of Johnny Pierce. I say being pushed, but it's not really correct, because this track, the draft won't be playing any role whatsoever. It's all going to be about getting that perfect exit.
Going to be about getting the exit. Also, to make a pass here, these guys are going to have to get the inside as they are now coming out of 2, getting ready to go green for the first time here at Martinsville Speedway.
And the pace car does dip off the 8 of Steven Aguiar. 5 Jason Ashby, Wrangler Motorsports team, side by side this restart. They're going to wait for the green flag to fly. The green flag flies. The 8 of Aguiar puts down the floor. The 5 of Ashby gets a better start than he did. And right behind the 16 of Johnny Pierce, side by side with the 8 of Aguiar. Goes up the track. 16 of Johnny Pierce goes sideways. Almost spins out, able to hang on to it. 3 wide on the exit of turn number 2. The 16 of Johnny Pierce will go from about 4th place to 8th place here in one lap. He is trying to get a grip, but so far having no luck. Still getting freight train as though he's sitting still. 25 of Mark Gertie gets a pass against him. And right behind Gertie will be the 24 of Blevins, the inside of 16 of Pierce.
Yeah, these guys looks like they're getting single file up front here, Sean. Currently running Jason Ashby first, Steven Aguiar in second, John LaBeouf third, Eddie Hawks fourth, Paul D. Johnson now in the top 5. Stephen Johnston running 6th, Colton Lane 7th, Mark Gertie up into 8th position. But looks like here a little further in the back though, right after Danny Shane with the 58 of Tom Chisholm. A couple double side by side back here as they are trying to get back into single file. But the 16 of Johnny Pierce, man, he is falling back as he has now got the 4 of Sammy Holmes, who's just going to go ahead and get back into single file formation.
Yep, Johnny Pierce's first mistake has cost him a lot. He has finally fallen back in line in the normal race groove, the faster race groove. How he can now propel his wheel, try his best to get back up there here before too long. Sideways action off the exit of the turn. Nice save by Johnny Pierce. You can tell Dave is pushing that machine to the limit, trying his best to make up as much time as he can.
Well, we got a little battle back here. The looks like 55 of Karsten Quint, the 42 of Cody Knapmiller. Our pole sitter that started from the back of the field there is getting around the 3 of Dale Robertson as he is running. A little further back there, Aaron Grosskopf running. He has got the 813 of Mike Taylor all over him as Mike Taylor's trying to make that pass. Just can't get quite to the inside there. A little further back, Brandon Massey back here running. He's got Adam Chapman and the 23 of Craig Hawkins back here as well. Derek Pemberton's back here. Good to see him. Great driver Chris Perez running back here in 26th. Ronald McManus, the 1 of James O'Brien, last season's champion, currently running back in 28th, but he is being shown 1 lap down.
Yep, and David Dreckman in the 33 machine has been left out high and dry. He has gone from about 17th place to 22nd place in 1 lap with a little bit of a dent in his rear end to show for it. So it looks like we had some bumping and banging early on, and so far he finally has a chance to fall back in line behind the 81 of Derek Pemberton, and will try his best to get back up there. And Dave, usually in the beginning we do see drivers like who prefer to just ride for the first half of the race, but at this track, riding is not an option.
Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, we only got 200 laps here. You know, these laps, these guys still running about 19-second lap times. So we're a little bit of contact there with the 33 and look like maybe the 81, but they keep it going straight, keep it going green flag racing. But as I was saying, these guys are only running low to mid 19-second lap times. So these lap times are kicking down pretty quick. You got about 3 laps every 60 seconds.
Yep, and my point being about them not being able to ride, riding not being an option would be because the track is so fast. If you ride, you most likely will be going a lap down in no time. So far, looking at the 78 of Ron McManus, Ron McManus is being shown about 17 seconds behind the leader, which means the leaders are now 2 seconds behind him. And if he rides for too long, actually speaking of the leaders, they are catching up to him That is 5 of Jason Ashby. He has 78 of Ron McManus in his sights, and Ron must find 5th gear here before too long, before he goes a lap down. It's going to be very difficult to get your laps back as well, because you will end up just losing more and more time, and you will be hoping for cautions. Also going a little bit back up front with 60 of Cotton Lane, behind the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Actually, that's 22 of Christian Swenson. Not sure what the 14 of Johnson is shown, but the 22 of Swenson is being shown 4 laps down so far in 30th.
Yeah, so, well, 14 laps in, though. I expect a few cautions. I will be shocked if we don't get a couple of cautions. It is Martinsville. It is a short track. These cars do have the powerful V8s. We did a race earlier this week here at Martinsville, and we've seen a lot of drivers kind of kick out and lose it coming out of turn 2. But I tell you what, these guys at the Precision Racing League are professionals. These guys are doing a good job here as we are watching the 14 of Paul D. Johnson giving a little bit of a bump to the 45 of Eddie Hawks. He's saying, come on, man, we got to get to the front here, as they are now making their way around the 78 of Ronald McManus.
Yep, and Johnson still applying some pressure to the 45 of Eddie Hawks. He tosses to the inside of Eddie Hawks. Eddie Hawks will drift high to let him have it. He was going to try the crossover move. Looks like he was not close enough to make it stick, and the gap in between them does get nothing but bigger. And Johnson's next victim for position number 3 will be the 911 of John LaBeouf. John LaBeouf being shown about, let's see, 8 tenths. No, actually less than that. It's about 2 tenths behind 8 of Aguiar for position number 2. So he is very determined to get up to him here before too long.
Yeah, most definitely here. I mean, just look. I think we just started the broadcast almost. We're on lap 18 already, Sean. So I think it's going to be a quick race. These guys are showing. I tell you what, I am actually looking forward to seeing the green flag pit stops. Question is how many laps can they go?
Yep, can't wait to find that out. And Dave, so far a driver is on a mission so far to get the job done regardless of what the track has to throw against him. The 4 of Sammy Holmes gaining half his spots on lap number 19 from 22nd place to 11th so far, being shown only less than 1 second ahead of his behind his next opponent, 42 of Cody Nantmiller. Sammy has come a long way, and he's not going to stop just yet until he gets up there. Hopefully gets up the leaders here before too long, and gives Ashby the 8 of Aguiar as well, the Wrangler Motorsports team, a run for their money, but fingers crossed. Well, he is actually, that is their teammate. I just now remembered that. Yeah, Sammy Holmes is the teammate to the 8 of Aguiar, and also the 5 of Jason Ashby. They did finish 1, 2, 3 once again at the first race of the season at Daytona International. So that was very, very nice to see, but he is still getting up there as we speak. The 43 of Steven Johnson as well, being shown behind the 24 of Corey Blevins. These guys are very, very close together, very bunched up. And we have Dustin Hall and John Marine in the chat. Good to see you guys. The 60 of Cotton Lane does drift way high. He's going to lose 3 spots in 1 lap. The 16 of Johnny Pierce, 42 as well. I'm taking advantage of that. That's going to be Steven Johnston. So Cotton Lane going from 6th place to from 6th place down to 10th place in 1 lap, losing 4 spots. Unfortunately, we have lost 1 driver, defending champion 1 of James O'Brien. He had some connection problems last week as well at Atlanta, and looks like it's happening again tonight. Very, very unfortunate indeed for James O'Brien. We'll look forward to him getting everything sorted out and get it back to us before the race is over.
Well, I'm taking a look here, showing the 42 of Cody Nantmiller. He is just kicking down. We did see him take the pole, but once they started rolling for their pace laps, he was sent to the back of the field for not sure the reason, but so he's technically started at the back of the field. He has already moved up into 8th position.
Yikes, that is very, very impressive. And last week at Atlanta, he did dominate once again. Oh, caution flies on lap number 25. We're going to try and see who might have been involved in this.
I do believe that is going to involve the 813 of Mike A. Taylor. So we are going to pull up the Dre broadcast and instant replay here. We are going to focus on the 813 of Mike Taylor here. Coming into the turn. He gets car down up underneath of him and just kind of taps that rear quarter panel, sends him around, but everybody else is able to get around him. So good job, as we are now under our first caution of the night.
Yep, and this caution is a very good thing for David Dreckman, Ron McManus, Markel Murphy, Christian Swenson, Tom Chisholm, James O'Brien still not in the room, but all these drivers will be able to get at least one lap back, hopefully, if the leaders pit in. Yes, the leaders are pitting in. Everybody done pitted except for the 6 of Steven Mattox. Mattox staying out, most likely to lead a lap to get the bonus point. But yep, once Steven Mattox goes down pit road, those drivers I talked about will be able to get one lap back and be back on the lead lap. But then they are sacrificing and they are giving up pitting in order to stay out and get the wave around. And if this thing stays green, they will be at a very, very big disadvantage. And I'm not too sure about how the tower is playing, how much of an issue or a factor the tower is playing against the drivers tonight. But maybe not so much, Dave, because we do have a lot of grip tonight. At the same time, they are taking it easy for the most part.
Yeah, most definitely so. We'll have to see how this is going to play out. Looking like off of pit road, it's going to be Steven Mattox bringing them off pit road, followed by Jason Ashby, Stephen Aguiar coming out third, John LaBeouf fourth, Paul D. Johnson, your top 5 here, coming out of pit road.
Yeah, but speaking of Steven Mattox, Dave, again, he did not pit in. Just a reminder, yeah, he did not pit in, so he has, let's see, now having 26 laps more on his tires compared to the rest of the field. Something tells me it's not going to play too much of a factor like it would at Atlanta or a different track like Charlotte or something like that. But right now it's still in the lead. We have 78 of Ron McManus behind the pace car, same as the 22 of Christian Swenson, hoping to get the wave around once we go 1 to green, which most likely will be here before too long, coming to the start finish line this time by. And Ron McManus did decide to go down pit road, giving up the choosing not to get the wave around, but instead pitting in. The lights on pace car do turn off. We are back 1 to green. Christian Swenson and also the 813 of Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor is behind the field here, but we do have Christian getting the wave around the pace car as we speak. And Dave, I'm not sure what happened, but a lot of drivers are now being shown 1 lap down. So it looks like that caution back there did end up causing a lot of damage to more than just 1 or 2 drivers, because we have only 17 drivers on the lead lap out of 30.
Well, we did have a lot of drivers already a lap down, so they elected to come down. So we are back green flag racing here, Sean, as they are coming into turn number 1. Looks like Jason Ashby is going to take over the lead here. Steven Mattox is falling back there, but we got Jason Ashby, John LaBeouf, Stephen Aguiar, Cody Netmiller up into 4th. Corey Blevins now running in 5th.
Yeah, it looks like Steven Mattox's strategy of staying out and having 26 laps more on his tires compared to everybody else is not working with him. It's working against him so far. Going from first place to down below the top 10, about, let's see, 13th or 14th place. And so far, Johnny Pierce on his inside. Johnny Pierce sustained a rear end in dent in his rear end. The caution has flown as we speak, as race control throws it.
I'm gonna take a look here, see if there was a wreck or something here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, Dave. It most likely is a debris caution. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on my end. Dave, are you catching anything yet?
No, I haven't seen anything, so it looks like it might be just a debris caution.
Most definitely, everybody will get a chance to get bunched up, and Dave, this will work with the 6 of Steven Mattox. So hopefully he can go down pit road, get 4 tires, full tank of gas, and be back on the same strategy as everybody else. And Craig Hawkins is the driver next in line for the Lucky Dog, so he should be back on the lead lap here before too long. So great job to Craig Hawkins, keeping that machine clean and being eligible for the Lucky Dog. And we have a new viewer in the chat, Nate Cotilla. Good to see you there, Nate. And unfortunately, the cautions are way too quick at this track, so we won't be able to get any interviews during cautions or under caution. And tonight's race, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is the Smash A Rama 200 by Austin Moore. Austin Moore is the former driver here at the Precision Racing League and is currently an admin this season, keeping these drivers in check from the booth. And so far, our biggest movers in the top 10 would include the 24 of Corey Blevins. Corey Blevins gaining half his spots from 10th place to 5th place. And Sammy Holmes from 22nd place, currently rounding up the top 10. Aaron Groskov from 25th to 11th. And the drivers are very, very close in points as well, only about 1 to 2 points separated. For most drivers, for example, first and second place driver in points, Jason Ashby and Cody Natmiller are only spread out by 2 points. We have Steven Aguiar, third place and second place driver, Jason Ashby, Steven Aguiar separated by 2 points only. Marquero Murphy, Steven Aguiar separated by 1 point for third place. Sammy Holmes, Marquero Murphy separated by only 3 points in the point standings. So these drivers know that they're very, very close to each other, and every single race will make a difference. We have one driver again the way over the pace car A13 of Mike Taylor, this time by. Yep, and Mike Taylor had some bad luck early on, and that machine has definitely seen some better days, that Chevy Camaro. But he is still determined to get the job done. Most of the damage is on the left front of the machine. If anything, that most likely will only affect the rotation of the machine. The pace car is now off the 5 of Jason Ashby, still leading them. 8 of Aguiar behind. Looks like the caution has been extended. So we will have one more pace lap here before going green. The lineup is still the same. We are still being led by the 5 of Jason Ashby, 8 of Steven Aguiar right behind him. 9-11 John LaBaff on the outside with the help, being assisted or being... he will be followed by the 42 of Cody Natmiller. Oh, pace car is off again. Jason Ashby still holding pace speed. The green flag flies, 42 of Cody all over the 9-11 of John LaBeouf like fudge cake on Sunday. Natmiller does back it down, goes to the inside of LaBeouf, following the 8 of Aguiar. 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. Cody goes sideways, but he's still going to be 3 wide, entering turn 3. Scratch that, John LaBeouf did back it down, does a crossover against the 8 of Aguiar. They will be side by side on the front stretch, entering turn 1. They almost made contact. That could have been ugly.
That could have been, but you know what? They always say, Sean, that if you don't walk out of here with some bumps and scrapes on your car, you didn't race hard enough.
Oh, that's a very good point. And it's going to be a lot of work for the crews out there, picking up all those pieces of the machines, all that debris, because of all the banging, beating and banging that's going to be going on here tonight. And this track will live up to its name, most definitely will, because they will rather bring the steering wheel home or the checkered flag home and nothing in between. And so far, 24 of Blevins right behind 9-11 John LaBeouf. The caution flies as we speak.
I do believe that is going to involve the 813 of Mike Taylor. I do believe was involved in one of the earlier cautions, so we're going to pull up the Dre broadcasting replay. We're going to focus on the 813, see if we can see what happened coming into the turn. Running the outside, he just lost the back end, got up into the wall, had to come to a stop on the track, bringing out our caution.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for 813 of Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor definitely not having a very good start to tonight's race. Hopefully the pit crew has enough time to straighten that machine out a little bit more, because he had left side damage early on and now he has even more right side damage. So hopefully maybe balances it out, because it did affect the rotation of that machine. The backing just snapped around, but up front we are still being led by the 5 of Jason Ashby. Cody Natmiller being shown second, going from 4th place on the last restart. 2nd place this time by Steven Aguiar, 3rd. John LaBeouf 4th, and Corey Blevins in the 5th place spot so far, rounding up the top 5 respectively. And pit road so far, Eddie Hawks, Dustin Hall, Stephen Mattox, Danny Duchesne, and Mike A. Taylor pitting in. And Aaron Groskopf making his first appearance in the top 10 right behind Colton Lane in the 9th place spot, and has Sammy Holmes still rounding up the top 10. And Aaron Groskopf had a very rough season last season, but he is back for more this season, hoping to have a better season, and I do believe he will have a better season. He is an amazing driver. 14 of Johnson right behind Corey Blevins, and that Big D's machine does have a rear end dent in it. That's a Ford Mustang with a road trip RV rental paint scheme. Absolutely, John. Good to see you there again. He has gone from the back of the pack to 2nd place in 50 laps. I spoke much of this driver, the 96 of Adam Chapman, being shown 13th from 28th place. He too has come a long way, I believe. I'm not sure if Adam has raced before. His name doesn't sound familiar for whatever reason. But going back up front, we are now back 1 to green. Drivers getting bunched up nice and tight once again. Jason Ashby, Stephen Aguiar right behind him on the outside 42 of Nat Miller with the help of the 911 of John LaBath.
Yes, they are now coming down the short backstretch here into turn number 3, getting ready to go. Green flag racing. Pace car is off. Jason Ashby keeping pace speed coming into turn number 3. Waiting to go. Green flag racing once again. He keeps it at speed. Off he goes on the pedal. Gets a good jump up in front of Cody Nat Miller. Here comes the 8 of Stephen Aguiar. Oh, he drove in way hard. Had to go up into the outside wall and smack that wall as he tried to get in down underneath the 911 of John LaBeouf.
Oh, that was not pretty at all. Very unfortunate indeed for the 8 of Aguiar, but he is back in line, back in it to win it. Gonna back it up, dude, all over again. And this time, get it right. 43 right now in front of him. Stephen Johnson applying pressure to the 24 of Corey Blevins. At the same time, 14 of Johnson trying to pressure the 911 of John LaBeouf. And John LaBeouf hasn't been in the clear for too long and won't be by the looks of it. And right now, 42 of Nat Miller all over the leader 5 of Jason Ashby.
I tell you, the 5 of Jason Ashby is doing a good job. He is not running his mirror. He is running his line. He is going to make Nat Miller. He is going to have to dive it down in and get that inside, because either that or he's going to have to complete that pass on the outside to get around the 5 of Ashby.
Oh, Dave there catching up to a smoking machine. That's 45 of Eddie Hawk's heavy smoke. It's a barbecue on pit road. He most likely is blinding the drivers, but he is in the grass courtesy. And he will be pitting in this time by very unfortunate indeed for the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Hopefully his pit has enough time to get that machine back up and running, so 45 of Hawks can be able to finish this race strong.
Yeah, also down on pit road, Dustin Hall and David Dreckman also making their way down on pit road as we speak. As we now have a battle for the race lead, the 42 of Nat Miller, he is going to get around the 5 of Ashby and take over the race lead here on lap 52.
Oh, the caution has flown on the exit of 2. We're going to see who might have been involved in this one. See, the 96 of Adam Chapman was spun out sideways, and yep, he's not a new driver, but Adam Chapman was spun out on the track. Yeah, let's back up on Adam and see what happened.
Well, as we take a look at the Dre broadcast and replay, oh, turn 2 got another victim, or that's turn 4 got a victim. He come around and just lost it coming on the exit of the turn. He stopped it there on the track, let everybody get around him before he tried to get it spun back around. Just a single car wreck here, Sean.
Absolutely, very nice save indeed by Adam Chapman. Could have been worse. Looks like he got loose on the entrance to the turn, entering turn number 3 and exiting turn 4. He was not quite straight because he was still out of shape from losing it on the entrance. And that did upset the machine when he put his foot down through the floorboard. But he's getting towed down to pit road as we speak. Hopefully, he can be able to still stay competitive before too long, because that machine is not as bad as it could have been. But once again, nice save by everybody. But going back up front, 42 of Nat Miller still leading. 81 of Derek Pemberton gets away around the pace car. Lucky Dog back on the lead lap this time by on lap 55. So great job to the 81 Derek Pemberton crew. He will be out there and staying in it to win it. Stephen Aguiar, Johnny Pierce, Danny Duchesne, Craig Hawkins, Mark Gertie, Ronald McManus, Adam Chapman, Eddie Hawks, Dustin Hall, and David Dreckman down pit road this time by for some service. And looking at it right now, Dave, the top 10 drivers going from Cody Knapmiller down to the 81 of Derek Pemberton, actually to the 41 of Chris Perez for 10th place. These guys have not pitted in the last 30 laps. So it makes me wonder exactly how this will play out if we do go green. I mean, when we go green flag racing, because we'll see a green flag run, and these guys just might be at a big disadvantage. Because looking at the 6 of Steven and Mattox early on, when he stayed out with only 26 laps over the tires, it didn't work out for him. He went from 1st place to 11th place in less than 1 lap.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, laps are going down. We got 144 out of 200 laps remaining here in Martinsville for the Slamorama 200, brought to you by Precision Racing League Sunday, or the American iRacing Sunday Series, sponsored by Gen X Racing.
And it's very, very good to see there, Mike Taylor. Very unfortunate to hear about your misfortune, but it's very good to see that you never give up, buddy. Never give up. And we are now back 1 to green. Cody Knapmiller still leading. Caution has been extended. But this lineup includes Cody Knapmiller on the inside with the help of the 911 of John LaBeouf. On the outside, the 5 of Jason Ashby, hungry to take over was rightfully his, which was that race lead. Being pushed by the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. The 60 of Colton Lane here in this mix in 6th place. With also the 40 of Groskov and the 43 of Steven Johnston. We are going green this time by before too long. That 911 John LaBeouf with the No Fear Racing team. He wants to get a win here tonight at Martinsville Speedway for the Smasher Rama 200 by Austin Moore. Entering turn number 3 this time by going green. Hang on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on to your seats. The pace car is off. Knapmiller still holding with pace speed. The leader does control the start. On the exit of 4, he does put it down the floor. The 5 Ashby sees it coming, but not quite. Falls back in line. 911 John LaBeouf, 14 of Johnson, he drives in hard and entering turn number 1. But 911 John LaBeouf will edge him out on the exit of turn 2. And the 14 of Johnson crossover move. He tries, but is he close enough to make it? Nope, he does not. He backs off to avoid causing a dive bomb entering turn 3. The 911 John LaBeouf gets a little bit loose. That closes in the 14 of Johnson, but on the exit of 4, oh, the caution flies this time by. Oh, the 40 of Aaron Groskov got involved in this mix. Heavy damage, 25 as well. Mark Gertie, I got a piece of the action. Let's back up on 40 of Groskov, Dave, and see what happened.
Looks like he had to brake hard there because he was going to run right into the back there of the 43 machine. And the 4 of Sammy Holmes just did not see the brake check and hit him, and he went up into that outside wall. Also collecting the 16 of Johnny Pierce. Also the 25 machine of Mark Gertie.
Oh man, absolutely. That was a very, very bad wreck, and Mark Gertie was fortunate enough to minimize that damage because he was able to slam on those brakes and hit him only while going less than 20 miles an hour, which is pretty good. Better than going over 50 miles an hour. But right now we are under caution, still being led by 42 of Cody Knapmiller. Second place is 5 of Jason Ashby, John LaBeouf 3rd, Cody Johnson 4th, and Colton Lane 5th. And one thing about these machines, they do not have any tail lights, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not paying attention, you will find yourself in the passenger seat of the driver in front of you. In the 48 of Markel Murphy getting the wave around the pace car this time by. And Markel Murphy will be back on the lead lap, actually. He is back on the lead lap from 1 lap down. And Johnny Pierce getting out of pit road this time by in 12th place as well. Same as 8-13 of Mike Taylor back out there, ready to get some more done. Yep, Mike Taylor trying, very determined. The better he finishes, the more points he gets. And those points do take you a long way this season. And Dave, the season is very young. This is only race number 3 of 12. But having no chase is always important to make the best of it.
Yep, so we are getting ready. See, we are still sitting under yellow. Will the lights go off? Nope, lights are going to stay on, so we are going to go around a couple more laps here at Martinsville for the Slamorama 200.
And we have lost one more driver, unfortunately, 45 of Eddie Hawks, putting it behind the wall. Very unfortunate indeed for 45 Eddie Hawks. He had some bad luck. He was a driver who was smoking heavily during that green flag run we had, and lost so much time. Looks like his pit crew is not going to have enough time to fix that machine before the race ends. So he has no choice but to retire for the night. But look forward to seeing him again back next week at Auto Club Speedway for the Phantom Zone Designs. Well, we are now back 1 to green, still being led by 42 of Nat Miller with the help of the 911 of John LaBeouf on the inside. On the outside will be the 5 of Jason Ashby with the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Let's get it done.
As the pace car now brings him down the back stretch, it will be dipping down into pit road here. Pace car off on the pit road. Nat Miller is controlling the start as we are coming through turns 3 and 4 here. Nope, pace car back out. Looks like they're going to extend it one more lap.
Yep, the thing is the caution laps are way too quick, so it makes it very hard for the back of the pack to catch up before the green flag flies. So race control keeps throwing it just to get everybody bunched up to avoid confusions, because that would not be pretty. But now we are exiting turn number 4 this time by, actually that was turn number 2. The pace is going to be dipping off here before too long. The pace car is off, entering turn 3, going green this time by Cody Nat Miller, controlling the pace. Cody puts down the floor, he goes sideways a little bit on the exit of turn number 4. And 911 LaBeouf side by side with the 5 of Jason Ashby for second place. 5 of Ashby tries to drive it in hard. 911 LaBeouf still on his inside. Side by side they go. 5 of Ashby, perfect exit off turn number 2. And maintains the second place spot away from the 911 of John LaBeouf.
Yeah, it was a good job there by John LaBeouf. He wasn't going to push the issue too much, so he kind of backed off. He let the 5 of Jason Ashby in there. But Cody Nat Miller already pulling out to a 0.6 of a second lead. He was quickest in practice, quickest on the pole. And taking a look right now, he actually has the quickest lap out on the track with a 19.085.
Yeah, during the first run, the first 50 laps, the drivers were busy battling each other while Cody Nat Miller was pretty much hot lapping. As we see right now, 24 of Corey Blevins is trying to make some moves, overtaking the 41 of Chris Perez. Side by side they go. They almost make contact off the exit of turn number 2, but no harm was done there. And the 24 of Blevins gets the pass against the 41 of Chris Perez unharmed. And Perez falls back in line to avoid losing time, speed, and position. But right behind him is the 3 of Robertson trying to take it away in a heartbeat.
Yeah, take on back here. Johnny Price back up into 11th. Eric Pendleton. Got a little bit of a battle here between Markel Murphy. Actually, I was with the one of James O'Brien. James O'Brien is currently 19 laps out. He is back out on the track as we speak. Craig Hawkins riding right behind him with the 8 of Stephen Aguiar there in 16th.
Yep, and Aguiar side by side with 55 of Carson Quint. Carson goes way wide. He will lose that spot against the 8 of Aguiar at the same time with the 25 of Mark Gurdy, was able to get around him. And both Mark Gurdy and Carson Quint are racing for the Lucky Dog. They are nose to tail as we speak. So this race between them will get nothing but hotter before the caution comes out. If the caution comes out, and they are really hoping for the caution. So far, only having 16 drivers on the lead lap out of 30 drivers starting tonight's race. So fingers crossed that most of these guys will be able to get their laps back before the race is over. 25 of Mark Gurdy overtaking the 33 of that's going to be the David Dreckman, and Dreckman will let them by unharmed. Oh, the 4 of Sammy Holmes gets hard into the wall on the exit of the turn. 24 of Blevins will try and occupy. Oh, he taps him. They go sideways. The 4 of Sammy Holmes hangs onto it. The green flag stays out. Holy cow, Dave, what a save and a half by the 4 of Sammy Holmes.
Yeah, that's going to warrant another look. So we are going to take the Dre Broadcasting instant replay here. We are going to focus on the 4 of Sammy Holmes. We are going to watch this as he has got the 24 of Corey Blevins. Looks like coming out of the turn. gets into that wall. Corey Blevins, nowhere to go, riding right behind him. But different braking points, and Corey Blevins there, accidental little tap air to the floor of Holmes, but Holmes saved it. So let's go here on the in-car of this. He is dirt tracking it here at Martinsville. Good job by the floor of Sammy Holmes to keep that car going straight and keeping us under green flag condition.
It looks like Sammy definitely has had some dirt road experience, dirt track experience, and that experience has definitely paid off here in tonight's race at Martinsville. Lap 78 with 122 laps left. That is 122. Most likely, I'm not sure what the pit window is, but most likely is above 50 laps, I would guess. So we should expect to see at least one more pit stop in order for the drivers to be able to make it the full length of the race. 121 laps so far remaining. 24 Blevins as we speak does have the 3 of Robertson right behind him, and Robertson was keeping a low profile early on, but right now he has a 16 of Johnny Pierce to his inside. And Johnny Pierce had a second place finish last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and so far trying to have his first win this season and is pushing it. He has had the dent in his rear end for the longest time, but so far still determined to get the job done regardless. Behind Darrell Robertson is the 48 of Markel Murphy. Markel Murphy, last season's fastest driver in the long run, trying to live up to his name here tonight as well at Martinsville.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on lap 81 of 200. We have 119 laps remaining. We are going to go ahead and step away for our first commercial break of the night. Give everybody a chance to refill their drink, refill their snack. Once again, you are watching the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, sponsored by Gen X Racing. We'll be right back.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Smash A Rama 200 by Austin Moore, part of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, courtesy of Gen X Racing. Check them out at genxracing.com. Well, going back to the race, we are still being led by 42 of Cody Nutmiller. Nutmiller has caught the rest of the field, or I should say the back of the pack, and he is putting them down one lap, one at a time. Next victim, 23 of Craig Hawkins. Hawkins goes high, lets him by, no harm done. Next victim, 81 of Derek Pemberton. Pemberton finding 5th gear so far, trying to get ahead of a 4 of Sammy Holmes, who in turn will be the next victim for position 1 if the leader gets around 81 of Derek Pemberton. But Pemberton will put in a hard fight to try and stay on the lead lap the longest he can. Nutmiller does drift to the inside of Pemberton, and Pemberton has no choice but to stay high, and the pass has been made. Looks to the inside of the leader. Nope, it's not close enough. He backs off, and Pemberton is finally a lap down, but next victim in line is the 4 of Sammy Holmes, but going a little bit behind is the 9 of John LaBeouf. LaBeouf was trying to make a pass against 5 of Ashley, but ended up getting onto the brakes a little too hard, got loose, and lost all his time against Ashby, and has to do it all over again.
Yeah, most definitely, as we are now under yellow here, Sean.
Oh, damn, looks like that involved the 24 of Corey Blevins. Most likely a self-spin. Yeah, let's back up on 24 of Blevins and see what happened.
Well, as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting instant replay here, we are going to focus on the 24 coming through turn. I think that's 3 and 4 there. As he comes out of the turn, yep, turn 4 is going to strike another victim. Is going to kick that back end out. He's going to lock it up, let everybody get by. As that is our 6th caution here of the night here at Martinsville, as we are approaching the halfway point of tonight's race.
Oh man, yeah, that was quite the impact between him and the wall. Shouldn't have been too bad though. He should still be able to be competitive before the race ends, and so far he is headed down to pit road. So his pit crew can beat that machine out the best they can and make it look as pretty as possible to help with the aerodynamics of the machine and the rotation for the most part, which is the most important thing here, is the rotation of it. But going back up front, we're also being led by Cody Nutmiller, who is on pit road, actually leaving pit road as we speak. Yep, he was first on pit road and first off pit road. So Jason Ashby second right behind him, John LaBeouf third, Stephen Johnston fourth, and Poddy Johnson might be the next driver. Actually scratched that. Cotton Lane was able to beat Poddy Johnson off pit road.
Yeah, taking a look here, our top 10 is going to be Cody Nutmiller, Jason Ashby in second, John LaBeouf third, Stephen Johnston will be 4th, Colton Lane 5th, Markel Murphy moving up into 6th position, Dale Robinson 7th, Johnny Pierce 8th, Danny DeShane now in 9th, and Derek Pemberton will round out your top 10.
And so far we only have 12 drivers on the lead lap. A track like this, you will go a lap down in no time if you ride for too long. And some drivers just pretty much stuck battling each other. They had no choice but to battle each other. And because they were battling, they forgot about the leaders behind them, and they realized the leaders were right behind them when it was too late. But we'll be coming one to green here before too long. We have behind the pace car Stephen Aguiar, Mike Taylor, and Christian Swenson, hoping to get the wave around here before too long. And during the last run, the leaders had over 70 laps on their tires. That is 70 laps on their tanks. But we had quite a few cautions in there, so it's very difficult to tell what the field window might have been. But we are now back one to green. Drivers getting away from the pace car. And Cody Nutmiller is taking over the race lead right behind the pace car. 5 of Ashby right beside him. John LaBeouf behind Nutmiller. And Stephen Johnston, second place on the outside behind the 5 of Jason Ashby. And the caution has been extended to bunch up the field. Yeah, if that caution had not been thrown, the drivers who got the wave around the pace car would not have been able to catch up to the back of the pack. We have some here banging in the back. Looks like someone might have blown their motor. Don't quite see anything though.
looks like the 81 is way under pace here. I wonder if maybe that's the motor that got blown, but it looks like he's gonna, nope. It just looks like he is going to be starting in the back of the field since he got the lucky dog, is they are going to extend it another lap to get everybody lined up properly.
Oh, actually, Dave, looks like the blonde motor was by the 6 of Steven Mattox on pit road. That thing was smoking for the longest time possible on pit road, but then ended up blowing up after about 10 to 20 seconds of idling. That was very weird, but very unfortunate indeed for Steven Mattox. Hopefully, his pit crew has enough time to get that machine back out on the track, but so far he is being shown 30th, 60 laps down. Well, going back up front, we'll be coming to 1 to green this time by as soon as we cross start finish line. And ladies and gentlemen, we just crossed the 380 subscriber mark on YouTube. Want to thank every single one of you for making that possible. Once again, 380 subscribers crossed starting with tonight's race, and thank you for that.
Well, Sean, we are now on the backstretch. We're being led by the 42, Cody Knappmiller. Jason Ashby on the outside as they are coming through turn 3. So we should be getting the 1 to green this time by.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that 1 to green. And we now have 11 drivers on the lead lap. Last time we checked, it was 12 drivers on the lead lap. Yep, the lights on pace car finally do turn off this time by. We are going green. Everybody getting ready for this restart. Let's get it done. And once we go green, we will give you guys a special treat. So stay tuned. Oh, Dave, let's hear these machines roar. And that was the Crank It Up cam courtesy of the Dre Broadcasting Network. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We are under caution here on lap number 110. We will try and see if we can find exactly what caused the caution. Looks like it was the 23 of Craig Hawkins involved in the incident. He was spun out sideways. Let's focus on the 23 of Craig Hawkins and see what happened.
Actually, I think that's going to start with the 43 machine there, Stephen Johnston, as he was side by side with the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Goes a little wide, gets loose, hits the 23 of Craig Hawkins, and that is going to bring out another caution here at Martinsville.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved in that, and we have lost one more driver, A13 of Mike Taylor, retiring for the night. Hope to see this driver and everybody else back next race next week at Auto Club Speedway for the Phantom Zone Designs race. That is Phantom Zone Designs at Auto Club Speedway, but we are still being led by 42 of Cody Knappmiller, second place driver 5 Jason Ashby, John Labatt third, coach on lane 4th, and Markel Murphy making his first appearance in the top 5. One driver getting away around the pace by the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Sammy Holmes back on the lead lap actually, from 1 lap down.
Yeah, with just 88 laps remaining, Sean, though, I don't know. Anything could happen, but I tell you, the 42 of Cody Knappmiller has been extremely strong, but Jason Ashby's doing a good job at keeping up with him as well. So it'll be interesting to see what these last 80-some laps are going to do.
Yeah, most definitely. And so far, it looks like these drivers the drives up front have been safe for the most part, but everybody who's been, so far looks like everyone who's been below the top 12, I should say, yeah, past the top 10, going lower, has been vulnerable and just pretty much getting involved in everything because the track is so narrow. When something happens in front of you, the track is easily blocked. So far, the drivers up front are trying their best to stay up front to try and avoid getting in any trouble. And so far, we have the 4 of Sammy Holmes getting off pit road this time by just beat the pace car by a nose hair, and who most likely will be going back to 1 to green this time by. And Dave, Cody Knapmiller has been leading for the longest time possible. Is he the has he led the most laps this far, or somebody else did?
Yeah, right now Cody Knapmiller leading 63 laps, Jason Ashby 47, and Stephen Maddox led 4.
Oh, Dan, 4, and congrats to all those drivers leading at least 1 lap, getting those the extra bonus point for leading a lap. That does go a long way, and we are now back 1 to green. Pace car dips off. I'm not sure if you're going to extend the caution. Doesn't look like it. Exiting turn 4, going green this time by 9. Puts it on the floor. The 9 level above. Does see it coming on the side, but so the 5 of Jason Ashby. Jason Ashby has his inside occupied. Drives in way hard entering turn number 1, but he will make it stick. LaBeouf backs off to avoid washing up to the left quarter panel of the 5 of Ashby, and they do go back nose to tail. Back for 4th place, battle between 48 of Markel and the 60 of Colton Lane, side by side. Murphy on the inside line has the preferred entrance to the turn on the exit. He just might have him. That is turn number 4. Yes, he has it. And the 60 of Colton Lane still on the outside, battling strong. Colton Lane did drift way high. He does go from about 4th place to 7th place in 1 lap. Now behind the 3 of Dale Robertson. And the 41 of Chris Perez is back in this mix, trying to get 2 laps back. He is being shown 2 laps down. 18th place so far behind the 78 of Ron McManus. Goes sideways. They are regular the 78 of McManus is found outside as the caution flies on lap number 119. Let's back up on Ron McManus and see what happened.
Well, as we pull up the Drake Broadcasting Instant Replay here, focusing on the 78. Almost gets into the wall here, coming into the turn. The 41 of Chris Perez right behind him. Little extra speed. Looks like he gave him a little bit of a bump. Got him around, but everybody else was able to get around him. That is going to bring out our 8th caution of the night here at Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for the 78 of Ron McManus there involved in that. But out front, we are still being led by Knapmiller, Jason Ashby 2nd, John LaBeouf 3rd, Markel Murphy 4th, and Joni Pierce 5th. And so far, we have 2 drivers pitting in, 4 drivers, Darrell Robertson, Colton Lane, Stephen Aguiar, Ron McManus, and Craig Hawkins down pit road this time by. Next driver in line for the Lucky Dog is the 43 of Stephen Johnston. Yep, Johnston going around the pace car this time by, going around the field. So Johnston is back to the lead lap, and that now gives us 12 drivers back on the lead lap. So far, Corey Blevins is the first driver being shown 1 lap down. So if he does stay out, which it looks like he will be staying out, he will be the next driver next in line for Lucky Dog. At the same time, he's been actually the only driver a lap down, so he won't have any to race anybody for position by Cody Johnson, Chris Perez, Christian Swenson, Karsten Quint, and Mark Gurdy, all being shown 2 laps down. So those 5 drivers will race amongst themselves for position number 14.
Yeah, most definitely, Sean. So we are now approaching 78 laps remaining here at Martinsville. We have seen Cody Knapmiller up front, Jason Ashby in 2nd, John LaBeouf, Markel Murphy battling for 3rd and 4th, Johnny Pierce and Derek Pemberton battling for 5th and 6th here, as we are now under our 8th caution of the night here at Martinsville, which is to be expected. I mean, it is Martinsville, half mile. It's a short track. Bumping is racing here at Martinsville.
Absolutely, bumping is racing, and this track living up to its name as usual as expected. And Derek Pemberton has come a long way tonight. He did survive, and is being shown 6th from 32nd, and from 30th, because we only had 30 drivers starting tonight's race. So he has still come along, and Markel Murphy still being shown 4th. Dale Robertson 7th, Cotton Lane 8th, Stephen Aguiar 9th, and Stephen Johnston, that just changed, Johnny Duchesne 10th. That rounds up the top 10. The caution has been extended. Will be going green next time. And the leaders up front, Cody Knott-Miller, Jason Ashby clutching those suckers in. They are trying to save gas to maximize the fuel economy, to stretch it, not to be able to stretch it. Maybe they might not even need to pit in, but we'll find out one way or another. And the lights of the pace car do turn off one more time. We are going green this time by the lineup. John LaBeouf behind Cody Knott-Miller. Jason Ashby ahead of the 48 of Markel Murphy on the outside. The pace car dips off. Knott-Miller still holding pace speed. He does usually go on the exit of turn number 4. Yep, he puts on the floor. He does catch him off guard. The 5 actually doesn't see it coming, but he's coming enough to get around the 911 John LaBeouf. They do go back single file Markel Murphy side by side with the 16 of Joni Pierce. Joni Pierce might have him. Nope, Murphy gets a slingshot off the exit of the turn and entering turn number 3. He seems to stay side by side for position number 4. And Dale Robertson following the line of the 16 of Johnny Pearson side by side with the 48 of Markel Murphy. And Markel drives in way too hard. He just might lose it on the exit of the turn. The caution flies on lap 127.
Well, we're going to pull up the Dre broadcasting replay. It looks like that's going to be on the 25 of Mark Gertie here. As we're going to go back and take a look here. Focusing on the 25 of Mark Gertie as he comes into the turn. The 43 trying to get down underneath of him. Just gets into the 25, gets him around. Just enough to bring out our 9th caution here at Martinsville.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for both drivers involved. Mark Gertie, and so including the 43 of Stephen Johnston. Well, next in line for Lucky Does 24 of Corey Blevins. Corey Blevins definitely happy to see this caution. He will be back on the lead lap here before too long. Paul D. Johnson was able to maintain the 14th place spot away from Carson Quint, Christian Swenson, 41 of Chris Perez, and 25 of Mark Gertie. Makes me wonder whether or not the drivers up front will be pitting in. So far, looks like only 4 drivers on the lead lap need to pit in. Oh, that's pitted in 30 laps ago. That would be Cody Knott-Miller, Jason Ashby, John LaBeouf, Johnny Pierce, and Derek Pemberton. But with the way the race is going so far, having a lot of caution laps on their tires, it hasn't made too big of a difference, or will not make too big of a difference. So they are most likely staying out and hoping for more caution so they don't have to pit in. But if it does go green, the guys who pitted in will be able to get around them. And Blevins back on the lead lap here on lap number 129 with 71 laps left here in tonight's race. And Dave, early on, Stephen Aguiar was running up front, but after he made that mistake, when he ended up braking a little bit too late, and that wall did welcome him with open arms. Ever since then, he hasn't been up front, but he's still being able to keep up with the pace. And Aguiar has his teammate right behind him, the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Sammy Holmes has been back on the lead lap, but that machine has definitely seen better days. It is beat up left side, right side, front, and back.
Well, it's like I said at the start of the race, Sean. If you don't have any damage, you didn't race hard enough here.
Yep, at least once the race is over, we'll know that every single one of these guys have raced. But so far, Ashby not showing a little bit of damage on the machine, not even a bit of it. Same as the leader 42 of Cody Natmiller. So these guys have been able to keep those machines clean, making their pit crews very happy that they won't be spending any money fixing them. But we are now back 1 to green this time by Craig Hawkins. Has retired for the night, unfortunately. But this lineup, LaBeouf still behind Natmiller, and 16 of Johnny Pierce still behind the 5 of Jason Ashby. The pace car dips off, entering turn 3.
Coming out of turn 4, Cody Natmiller bringing him to the green flag. Nope. Caution is going to be extended one more lap here, as they are still trying to get everybody lined up and into position. So we will go around one more time, get the 1 to green. So actually we are on the 1 to green. So they'll go around. The pace car will bring it in on turn 3 and 4. Should be going back green flag racing. Pace car is off. We are going green flags here again at Martinsville. Cody Natmiller bringing him out of turn 4. He gets a little spin, but he is off like a rocket. Here comes the 5 of Jason Ashby, but the 911 of John LaBeouf, he is under battle from the 16 of Johnny Pierce. But LaBeouf is going to maintain that number 3 position, as we are now just 67 laps remaining here at Martinsville.
A 60 of Carlton Lane, high side drive, gets him a thing with the 81 of Derek Pemberton. And Pemberton's next victim is the 3 of Dale Robertson, position number 5. That is spot number 5. Right behind them, 43 of Johnston, and the 5 from the 14 of Johnson. No, makes the pass successful against Paul D. Johnson. And looks like Paul D. Johnson is being shown 2 laps down, so there was no harm done there. And Johnson all sorts of sideways. He is very loose, back up in shape behind 43 of Johnson, so he will be trying his best to get up to his back bumper and battle him. But so far, Johnson's biggest worry is to just pretty much keep the drivers behind him for the most part, and the caution flies this time.
Ooh, that's going to be a big wreck there. The 22 of Christian Swenson involved in there, so we are going to pull up the Dre broadcasting replay. We are going to focus on the 22 of Christian Swenson, as it looks like coming in, he was running underneath the 8 of Stephen Aguiar, and the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Oh, just comes in too hard, can't get it slowed down. Contact with the 4, also the 8 of Stephen Aguiar. So that's a 3-car pileup. So that is going to bring out our 10th caution here at Martinsville.
Very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved in that. That was definitely quite a big wreck. Yep, collecting 3 drivers. And Sammy Holmes going to be going down pit road to get that damage fixed. Holy cow, that machine is very beat up. But up front, still the same leader, 42 of Natmiller, 14 of Johnson gets away from the pace car. And Johnson back to 1 lap down from 2 laps down. So Natmiller, Jason Ashby, John LaBeouf, Johnny Pierce, and Dale Robertson, 1st through 5th, respectively. And Markel Murphy has fallen back quite a ways. He's gone from 20th place. I mean, he was up there in 5th place earlier when I spoke about him. And now he is back there in the 9th place spot. That machine is very, very clean for the most part compared to other machines that we've looked at so far. 43 of Steven Johnston, the 60 of Carlton Lane, 81 Derek Pemberton. These guys do have some damage to show for it. And Sammy Holmes behind the pace car this time, hoping to get his lap back as we speak. Yep, he will be getting his lap back once we go 1 to green. Yeah, we have lost so many drivers tonight, unfortunately. James O'Brien, Craig Hawkins, Eddie Hawks, and Mike Taylor have retired early on. We look forward to having these guys back again at Auto Club. And speaking of James O'Brien, defending champion, last season's champion, he had some bad luck last week as well at Atlanta. It looks like it's happening this week as well, so hopefully next week he will be able to have an even better race than both races combined. And we'll be seeing him because he will be trying his best to defend his championship. It will be quite hard to do with the way this season's going so far here. This in the beginning, and we are now back once when the green flag flies. 48 at the 42 of Cody Knight puts on the floor. He does catch him off guard. The 5 of Ashby right behind him, single foul with the 9-11 John LaBeouf. LaBeouf drives in way too hard, get loose beside the 16 of Johnny Pierce, and Pierce battling side by side with him on the backstretch. Oh, Johnny's all kinds of loose under braking. He does go way wide, loses spots to the 3 of Dale Robertson. And the caution has flown here on lap 143.
I do believe that is going to involve the 48 of Markel Murphy as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting instant replay here. So we are going to take a look at the 48 of Markel Murphy, who is underneath the 81 of Derek Pemberton, right behind the 60 of Colton Lane. And it looks like the 81 of Derek Pemberton just gets loose into the wall and came back down into the 48 of Markel Murphy. So, but they keep it going back, but that is enough to bring out the yellow here for the 11th time here tonight.
Yeah, that was a heck of a recovery by the 48 of Markel Murphy. He did a full 360 circle and went underneath he went on above one of the machines and was still rolling back straight, so he will be able to still stay competitive here before the race ends. But up front, Cody Miller and the rest of the leaders deciding to stay out, having 46 laps on their tires and their tanks from the last time they last pitted in. So far something tells me they should be able to make it on gas the rest of the way.
Yeah, with 56 laps remaining, Sean, though, but we got to look. We've got a little bit of a rainstorm moving in. They say it's going to be here in about 24, 25 minutes, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get this race completed, but we are beyond the halfway point. So if it does get called due to rain, that is going to be an official race here at Martinsville.
Yeah, most definitely. We hope that rainstorm gets a little bit delayed. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure if they can be able to complete 55 laps in the 24 minutes that we have left. But fingers crossed, and that will make Cody Miller very happy and his job very easy. But Jason Ashby, John LaBeouf, Dale Robertson, Johnny Pierce, Colton Lane, not so much. John, I see your comment. That's pretty hilarious. Dale Robertson here is now back in the top 5 in 4th place behind John LaBeouf. Dale Robertson has been staying in the top 10 all night long. And now finally, I believe this is actually his first appearance in the top 5. And so far we now have 13 drivers back on the lead lap.
Yes, we are counting down these laps though. So hopefully we can get a good green flag run here. Let these guys get out here and run, see what they can do on a long run. Looks like our front top 3, 47 laps since their last pit. Dale Robertson there sitting in 3rd. He's got 27 laps. John LaBeouf and Johnny Pierce, 48 laps. And Colton Lane, 27 laps. So we got some fresher tires up here. Let's see if that's going to make a difference here, as they are getting ready, not 1 to green, but we should be getting the 1 to green next time around.
Yep, I cannot wait for the bump and run to be put into action, into play. Fingers crossed that we see some racing here before too long. Now we show the 16 of Johnny Pierce side by side with the 60 of Colton Lane. We have Steven Johnston with the 27 of Danny Duchesne and the 4 of Sammy Holmes right there. And Markel is rounding up the top 10 here so far, exiting turn number 2, going green this time by.
Nope, they're going to extend it, Sean.
Yep, looks like we have some stragglers in the back, so they are trying to get everybody bunched up. And for whatever reason, the turns are very, very confusing. Yeah, this one here is turn number 2. So I had it wrong that last time. Yep, the last lap pace for now do turn off. We will be going green this time by. And once the green flag flies, we're going to be having exactly 50 laps left. That is 50 laps. So let's get it done. And 25 minutes left before the rainstorm kicks in. Let's get it done. Fingers crossed.
Yep, pace car bringing them in, now off pit road. So it's up to the 42 of Cody Natmiller. He is the man in charge right now. As they come through turns 3 and 4, he doesn't waste anything. He gets hard on the throttle, starts shifting them gears, but the 5 of Jason Ashby saw it coming. Ashby trying to get to the inside, but Cody Natmiller shuts the door.
And Cotton Lane on the inside of 16 of Johnny Pierce, who is trying to defend his spot, but has no choice but to stay high. And 60 of Lane on the inside. Pierce goes way wide, and 11 LaBeouf as well is out of shape. Robertson does pounce on LaBeouf for spot position number 3. The 16 of Pierce goes to the inside of the 9-11. John LaBeouf sees the opportunity with the 3 of Robertson and overtakes the 9-11. John LaBeouf. LaBeouf going from 3rd place to about 5th place in 1 lap. And now Cotton Lane is filling the rearview mirror of the 911 of John LaBeouf the best way he knows how. And LaBeouf is not in the clear just yet. He is trying to keep Cotton Lane behind him at the same time, trying to get around 16 of Johnny Pierce and the 3 of Robertson at the exact same time. That is easier said than done. 27 of Danny Duchesne behind 43 of Steven Johnson as well. And Johnson as well behind the 60 of Cotton Lane. They are very close. Johnny Pierce trying to pounce on the 3 of Robertson. The caution flies on lap 154. We're going to see who might have been involved.
I do believe that's going to be the 55 of Karsten Quint involved in that. 2 laps down already, but we are going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay. Take a look here and see if we can see the 55 Karsten Quint riding. As he's riding the middle lane, looks like the 96 there just makes contact with him, just gets him loose enough into the inside wall. Unfortunate there for the 55 of Karsten Quint.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for both drivers involved. And indeed, a 96 of Adam Chapman as well has had a very, very rough race here tonight. Hopefully it picks up for him. And he was there as well last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I do apologize in the beginning. I talked about how he was a new driver here in tonight's race, but he is not. But up front, Cody Natmiller still leading off some smoke on the track. I'm going to try and see which machine is that's coming from. That's the 55 of Karsten Quint, smoking heavily, going down pit road. And ladies and gentlemen, this would be a good time for us to take a commercial break so we can give you guys some time to get some popcorn and refreshments. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Smash A-Rama 200 by Austin Moore. That is Smash A-Rama 200 by Austin Moore, part of the American iRacing Sunday Series here at the Precision Racing League. Check them out at precisionracingleague.com, and it's sponsored by Gen X Racing at genxracing.com. Well, going back to the race, we are still being led by Cody Knapmiller. Behind him is the 3 of Dale Robertson. Jason Ashby side by side of the leader 42 of Knapmiller. And behind him will be the 16 of Joni Pierce. The lights on the pace car do turn off. We are going green this time by. And once the green flag flies, we'll be having 40 laps left. That's 40 laps with, let's see, about 18 minutes left before the storm comes in. The caution has been extended. We will have one more lap of pacing. And Danny Duchesne going from 12th place to 8th. Danny Duchesne had a rough start as well tonight's race, but so far seems to be picking up for him, same as the 4 of Sammy Holmes, who is still currently rounding up the top 10. We are entering turn 3 this time by going green. The pace car is off. Knapmiller still holding pace speed. He does go as soon as he exits turn 4. He puts the gas to the floor. He does catch him off guard. The 5 of Ashby sees it coming this time. Better reaction time than the last 2 times. The 5 of Ashby was not close enough to make a difference in this position. The 16 of Joni Pierce on the outside as well tried to pounce on the 3 of Robertson, but got overtaken due to driving way too hard. The 3 of Robertson goes down to the inside to defend his position, and Joni Pierce is going to try and find another way to make the pass. Joni Pierce to the inside of Dale Robertson. Robertson goes way wide. Joni Pierce hard on the brakes. Sideways action. Side by side off the exit of 4. They make contact. Joni Pierce unharmed. So is the 3 of Robertson. They still stay side by side. Henry turn 3. 911 John LaBeouf watching this battle in his cockpit, and he is really just going to follow the line. That's the fastest. He will take advantage of the fastest line to take a spot away from one of the drivers to get back up where he was before, which was the podium, the 1, 2, 3. And Cotton Lane behind LaBeouf, being pressured by the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Johnson almost gave him the bump, but the caution flies on lap 165.
Well, that does look like it's going to involve the 96 of Adam Chapman once again. So we're going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay here, focusing on the 96 of Adam Chapman. Coming out of the turn, looks like, just slid up into the 37. Nothing too major. Everybody's able to get around him. Just a single car spin there, really. So hopefully we'll be able to get this line back up and back green flag racing.
Yeah, looks like 37 there did have to back it down for the 25 of Mark Gertie, who was on the outside line. And that checkup did cause 96 of Adam Chapman not to have anywhere to go and not enough reaction time to avoid that. But that's very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved. And Cody Knapmiller still leading. Jason Ashby second. Joni Pierce now being shown third. John LaBeouf fourth. And Paul D. Johnson fifth. Looks like Darrell Robertson gave up his third place spot to go down pit road for some service. So on pit road so far we have Dale Robertson, Cotton Lane, Sammy Holmes, and Steven Johnston, including Carson Quint. Well, Carson Quint was smoking heavily, so his pit crew is hard at work. We have 22 of Steven Johnston, Christian Swenson, getting away from the pace car, back to the lead lap. Yep, he is back on the lead lap. That gives us 12 drivers back on the lead lap. And in the beginning, Christian Swenson was 4 laps down, so he was able to get all 4 laps back. And that's very good to see.
Yeah, most definitely taking a look at our late race report here. Looks like we have had 13 cautions for 75 laps here tonight. 3 lead changes. Right now, the fastest lap put down here tonight was an 18.985 put down by our race leader and pole sitter, the 42 of Cody Knapmiller.
And speaking of Cody Knapmiller, he did win last week's race. He took the pole in last week's race. and led the most laps. So he is repeating history twice, so making history repeat itself. So qualifying on the pole twice in a row, Atlanta and right here Martinsville, leading the most laps right here and last week as well. So that is something to talk about. There's some bragging rights right there, and doing Gen X Racing proud. And Markel Murphy behind the 27 of Danny Duchesne. Markel did have some bad luck that one time with the 81 of Derek Pemberton, but is now back up here in 7th place, and the caution has been extended, so we'll have one more lap of pacing. And once again, only the top 2 drivers, Cody Nightmiller, Jason Ashby, have not a single scratch on those machines. Those are as clean as they came in. So that will be very, very impressive. That is impressive, staying clean this long in the race. 170 laps so far, 171 laps, and 29 laps left.
Yep, once we get the green flag, they'll have 29 laps to battle it out. Should be good. I think we're going to be able to go the full 200 laps here today, Sean.
Yeah, most definitely. Hopefully we have enough time to see these drivers burn it down up there, because they earned it. The pace car does dip off. Nightmare is still holding pace speed. He does go off the exit of turn 4. Let's see if he does the exact same thing. Yes, he powers off. Jason Ashby doesn't see it coming, but the 16 of Johnny Pierce sees it coming. 2nd place, side by side, Johnny Pierce. And the caution flies here. They make contact up front, but the caution does fly. Looks like it was further back in the pack.
Yeah, that looks like maybe the 5 of Jason Ashby involved in that.
No, actually, Dave, was the 81 of Derek Pemberton and the 96 of Adam Chapman.
Well, we are going to pull the replay here, focusing on the 96 of Adam Chapman here. See if we can see what happened between him and the 81. Oh, it looked like he just got rear-ended from the back. Let's take another look here as they were trying to go, and looks like 96 Adam Chapman had to check up a little bit for the 33 and just got smashed from the back. So highly unfortunate there, but that is going to bring out another caution here tonight.
Yeah, they were trying to slow it down for the 81 of Derek Pemberton, and that did cause that pile-up, and Derek did end up spinning his tires on that restart, which did cause that machine to just kick out and get upset. Very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved once again, but we are still being led by Cody Nightmiller. Johnny Pierce moving up from 3rd place, actually from 4th place to 2nd. Jason Ashby 3rd, John LaBatte 4th, and Paul D. Johnson 5th. Johnson was being shown 2 laps down early on, got his laps back up in the top 5, race for position number 4, and so on. So he will be up. He should be up there in no time, hoping to get a win, his first win here on Martinsville Speedway. So we're going to see exactly what Cody Nightmiller has to say about that. And I saw one driver get the waiver on the pace car, but I couldn't quite get a number on that machine. Oh, looks like it was a 41 of Chris Perez. Chris Perez went from 2 laps down back to 1 lap down. You can see John LaBatte constantly scrubbing those tires, going left and right, trying to avoid spinning him on the restart. And so far up front, the drivers, let's see, the top 4 drivers last pitted in 77 laps ago. That is 77 laps ago. That's a very long time. That was a long time ago. That is so many laps on their tires. But they will still be able to finish this race nice and strong. We now have, let's see, less than 25 laps left. We are coming to 1 to green this time by one more lap.
Yeah, well, right now we're at 24 laps to go, so if it ain't extended, we'll have 23 to go once we go back green flag racing here at Martinsville for the Smasherama 200, brought to you by Precision Racing League, the American iRacing Sunday Series, sponsored by Gen X Racing.
And we are now back one to green 81. Derek Pemberton gets away around the pace car, back from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. The drive's getting bunched up nice and tight. Johnny Pierce side by side with the 42 of Cody Notmiller. Pace car dips off. Cody Notmiller is still holding pace speed. The 5 Ashby does have him down, his strategy down. So let's see if he's going to be caught sleeping. Oh, Ashby goes sideways a little bit too early on the gas. It might be carnage. He goes sideways again. The wrecking. Ashby on his lid, flipping in every single direction possible. The caution flies from lap 179. Holy cow, Dave. I was dizzy just watching that, but let's focus on the 5 of Jason Ashby.
Well, as we pull up the Dre broadcast and replay, we are going to focus on the 5 of Jason Ashby here. As I am going to rewind it. Yep, he spins his tires on that restart. Gets squirrely, can't save it. Up in front of the 14 of Paulie Johnson as he goes for a ride. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to do a cockpit view of that, of the 5 of Jason Ashby here, as he is right behind the 43 there, Nat Miller, or 42. Yep, he just spins them tires and loses it, and then around he goes, and wow, he spins down that track. That's making me dizzy, Sean.
I can only imagine, man. Holy cow. Hope Jason Ashby's doing fine. That machine is still running, surprisingly. Usually they do end up blowing their motors on impact. But that was a very, very strong Chevy Camaro. But up front, Cody Notmiller still leading, Johnny Pierce second, John LaBeouf third, Markel Murphy fourth, and Colton Lane in the 5th place spot so far, rounding up the top 5. See, we have 19 laps remaining so far and about 7 to 8 minutes left before that storm kicks in. So fingers crossed, hopefully we'll be able to finish all these, complete all these laps. But once again, that would make Cody's job easier if they didn't finish all the laps. But Johnny Pierce, Dave, has been very strong tonight. He finished second last week at Atlanta and is trying his best to go 1 spot higher and take it over 42 of Cody Notmiller. But Notmiller so far having triple ones across the board. 1st place practice, 1st place qualifying, and has been leading for the longest time in tonight's race. And Sammy Holmes now being shown 3 spots higher than last time we last checked on him. He was in 10th place, but now up to 7th place behind Jason Ashby. And that machine seems to be crooked, actually. Jason Ashby's machine, that is, and I'm not surprised. It does seem to be leaning a little bit to the right. So his machine, he is keeping that wheel a little bit more to the left to keep it straight.
Yeah, most definitely. Is we are waiting on the 1 to green here. Now taking a look at our race report, 15 cautions for 89 caution laps here at Martinsville tonight. So it's been a rough one for the drivers, so they are probably wanting to get this race over and move on next week to Auto Club.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. This track has most likely been drained these drivers both mentally and physically because of all the hard racing we had early on. And just pretty much the way the race has been going this far. We are now coming back to 1 to green this time, which will give us, most likely we'll be having 14 laps remaining as soon as the green flag flies.
Well, Sean, just an interesting fact. We're at 15 cautions here tonight for the Xfinity Series here at Martinsville. Here's a question for all everybody out in the chat. Here at Martinsville in the Xfinity Series, what is the record for most cautions here at Martinsville? Type up in the chat. Let's see what you think.
And while we wait for the viewers in the chat to answer that question, the pace car does dip off. We are going green this time by. Nat Miller still holding pace speed. He puts on the floor almost sideways. He catches them off guard. 16 of Pierce still maintains the second place spot off from 911 of John LaBeouf. Markel drives it in way hard on the inside, on the outside of the 60 of Cotton Lane. Comes up with a big run. Cotton Lane will edge him out. Entering the next turn, and Markel just might back it down, fall back in line to avoid losing spots and time. The four of Sammy Holmes is behind him as well, ready to pounce.
Yeah, Sammy Holmes is having a pretty good run here. Now up into 6th position after starting 22nd, so he's having a pretty good run here tonight. But the man out front, 42, Cody Natmiller, Johnny Pierce 2nd, John LaBeouf in 3rd, Colton Lane 4th, Markel Murphy rounding out your top 5 as we are now 12 laps to go.
And Dale Robertson got around the 4 of Sammy Holmes for position number 6. So that bumps Dale up into 6th and Sammy down to 7th place. And his next victim is the 48 of Markel Murphy. Markel trying to catch up to his next victim as well, the 60 of Cotton Lane, Johnny Pierce. 42 Cody Natmiller separated by about 7/10 of a second. So Pierce does have a little bit of work to do. He most likely will try his best to have a better exit than Natmiller, but Natmiller seems to be hitting his spots, his marks quite well every lap.
Well, Sean, as we still got that interesting race, I'm going to go ahead and give the answer to that little trivia question. Actually, John Brummett, he guessed 18, thinking about an 0403. The actual answer is 21, and that was ran in October of 2007. So they had 21 cautions here. Looks like they were having a pretty good run right now.
Yep, that just goes to show how tricky and how difficult this track might be, or I should say challenging is a better word. Yep, how challenging this track is a driver's track. It also reminds me of a road course. You know, the slow in, fast out does work pretty well at a track like this. And now Cody Natmiller being shown 1.2 seconds ahead of second place driver Johnny Pierce, from 0.2 of a second ahead to 1.2 seconds ahead, and seems to be increasing his lead lap after lap. So him not taking tires for the last 95 laps is not affecting that 42 machine whatsoever. 7 laps left here in tonight's race, about 3 minutes left before that storm kicks in. Fingers crossed. And the field is very, very spread out so far. The closest drivers to each other would be the 4 of Sammy Holmes and the 48 of Markel Murphy. Very, very close to each other, within less than 0.6 of a second, actually, between each other. At the same time, 14 of Pody Johnson is not too far ahead of the 48 of Markel Murphy.
Yeah, most definitely, as we are now 5 to go. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 5 to go here at Martinsville. 22, Kristen Swenson is around doing a little dirt tracking, coming out of turn number 2, but he keeps it going straight, running there in the 10th position. Good job there by the 22 of Christian Swenson, keeping it straight.
Yeah, that could have been ugly. All that dirt tracking experience does definitely pay off, as we've seen so far with the 4 of Sammy Holmes. At the same time, early on, 16 of Johnny Pierce still seems to be losing some time against Cody Natmiller. At this point, maybe Pierce is most likely just backing it down and content with the second place finish. We have, let's see, 3 laps left. So it looks like Dave, we might be completing all laps.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, looking back in 3rd place, the 911 of John LaBeouf, he's got Colton Lane there. We are now 2 to go. 2 to go here at Martinsville. I don't know if Colton Lane will be able to get around him, but I tell you what, I don't think anybody's going to catch him. The 42 of Cody Natmiller, now coming out of turn number 4. He is going to take the white flag here at Martinsville.
Yeah, Pierce gets around the lap. Car 78 of Ron McManus, and next in line is the 24 of Levinson as well, who just went a lap down to the leader, 42 of Natmiller. But Natmiller now exiting the final turn number 4. and brings this thing home and challenge for a second win of the season. Back-to-back wins, triple ones across the board. Very impressive. Johnny Pierce, second place finish in a row here tonight at Martinsville Speedway. John LaBeouf coming out in third place, exiting turn 4. Actually, just see cross-start fishing already. Carlton Lane fourth, and Dale Robertson fifth, and that rounds up the top 5 drivers. Holy cow, what a race. And I'm not sure if how true what the situation is, but we'll most likely will not have enough time to see a smoke show, but fingers crossed for that. We'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers: Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, and John LaBeouf, so stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined by top 3 drivers: Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, and John LaBeouf, who started tonight's race winner, having his second win of the season, back-to-back wins. 42 Cody Knapmiller doing Gen X Racing proud. You got a copy there, Cody?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. That was an awesome race, fast car, and just a lot of fun.
You know, first of all, I should ask this question. How the heck did you go from, first of all, you qualified on the pole, congratulations on that, but you missed the start and started in the back of the pack. You went from the back of the pack, 30th place, to about 5th place in less than 50 laps. That is, I don't think that's ever been done, and your machine still comes out with not a single scratch on it.
Yeah, just an awesome setup, real fast car. Just was patient early on in the race, knew I had to start in the back. So I just was patient and just, didn't make any stupid moves, let people race and get single file for a little bit. And we raced pretty clean there for the first, 40, 50 laps or so, and got up there and then made a couple adjustments on the first pit stop. And then after that, this thing was a rocket.
Oh, copy that. And absolutely was a rocket, man. Once you got to the front, there was no getting rid of you. And how did the competition look from your end? Because you had the 5 of Ashby all over you for the longest time possible.
Oh, there was a lot of fast cars up here. Actually they were scattered through the field. Some guys, would pit and got shuffled back, but Ashby, Pierce, LaBeouf, they were all real fast, and they could have easily challenged me there if we got a little bit of a long green flag run. But those short restarts, I could get a little bit of a jump, and then, then there was caution would come out. So I wish it would have went a little bit more of a green flag race, but it was still a lot of fun, and hope everyone enjoyed watching.
Oh, absolutely. And Cody, you qualified on the pole tonight, qualified on the pole last week, won last week's race, and won this week's race. So that is 2 positive things right there. That is very impressive on your part and the rest of your team. And with all these victories so far, all this success with the Gen X Racing team, how are you feeling going to Auto Club next week?
We're feeling pretty good. Gen X, we've been working on that setup already, to be honest. So we should be pretty fast there next week, but it's, these races are hard to win, so I don't take them for granted. And, the competition's really stiff, and, my hats go off to everyone that races in the series, Purell, Dre Broadcasting, Gen X Racing, all the league sponsors. It wouldn't be possible without all you guys, so I appreciate it and looking forward to next week.
Well, Cody, once again, congratulations on your success here tonight and last week, and look forward to seeing you and your Gen X Racing team buddies next week at Auto Club Speed. Have a good night, buddy, and go celebrate.
Thank you, sir.
And that was tonight's race winner 42 of Cody Knapmiller with Gen X Racing, but right behind him is second place driver from last week's race as well, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Johnny Pierce. Got a copy there, Johnny?
Hey, yeah, I got you, buddy.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, ABF Freight Systems, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if anybody can read it, because I don't know if I got any hood panels or side panels left.
10-4. Yep, ABF freight. That's a very good looking paint scheme on your machine. And Johnny, tonight we noticed you started up front in the 4th place spot, but you did end up going to you were back then in the back of the pack early on. You weren't up there in the top 10 towards the very beginning, but once you got up there, we could not get rid of it. Tell us about your first couple of laps, because we noticed you drifted way too high and went from 4th place to 11th place to the back of the pack in no time, but found yourself up front again.
Yeah, you know, I called myself. We went into that turn, and I just trying to be nice, and I got up on the top of that track, and man, it is just so slick up there. I hit the wall right on the first lap. You know, crunched the right fender a little bit, but yeah. Basically, I wrote the book tonight on what not to do, how to win a race at Martinsville, because it was just I think it's the ugliest run I've ever had in my sim racing career.
Oh, copy that, and very sorry to hear about your misfortune there, but man, it was still nice seeing you having a comeback, redeeming yourself after your encounter with the outside line, the slick surface. It was an impressive race on your part. And Johnny, last week you did finish in 2nd place, and having a 2nd place finish right here at Martinsville Speedway. Should we expect to see a 1 spot higher finish next week at Auto Club from you?
Man, these guys are tough. I mean, you know, sometimes you just got to look and say, there's the talent. And, you know, we're going to try. I'm going to try like heck to get them. And, but it's just, that's a tall order. These guys are fast, they're focused. And, you know, I know our team's focused too, but they've definitely got a handle on this new build. We thought we had the handle on it. We went to Texas in the qualifier. But after last week at Atlanta, that was pretty disappointing. I just didn't like what we saw there. And but hopefully between Texas and what happened at Atlanta, we can go out there to California and put the two together and maybe give these boys a run for their money.
Oh, absolutely, and that is exactly what we like to hear. Very determined, buddy. You have the determination it takes, and with that, nobody can take anything away from you doing the SimTech Racing team extra proud. Well, once again, very congratulations on your back-to-back 2nd place finishes. That's podium after podium. Look forward to another podium, but a higher podium next week at Auto Club Speedway. Any final words, buddy, before I let you go?
Yeah, just a final shout out to the PRL. I mean, you guys make it possible. Cody's right, and we appreciate what you guys do. I know sometimes we don't always show that appreciation with some things we say, for the tempers getting to flare, and it's racing. You know, what are you going to do? But definitely a shout out to you guys, and a shout out to ABF Freight Systems again. They make this possible, and just really happy to wear these colors. And definitely good win, Cody. He did a good job.
Once again, buddy, congratulations on your 2nd place finish, and look forward to seeing you again at Auto Club Speedway next week, and go celebrate.
Thanks, man.
That was 2nd place finisher 16 of Johnny Pierce, but right behind him is a driver who was all over the leaders. 911 of John LaBeouf, representing the No Fear Racing team. Get a cup there, John.
Sure do, guys.
How you doing tonight?
It could have been better if I made it to the front, but I'm happy with where I finished.
Oh, John, you made it to the front, and you stayed up front for the longest time possible. So in my book, that's a win anytime, and securing yourself a 3rd place finish, a podium finish. That was impressive, despite what the track threw your way. Tell us about your race, man, because a lot of drivers had some bad luck with some beating and banging, but your machine, not so much.
No, I kept it pretty clean. Had a couple instances where I overshot the corner of my braking, so it pushed me up to the high side, so I had to let guys by. But just got back into the rhythm. Martinsville's all about rhythm. Hitting your braking points at the same point and just letting the car roll and go. But Cody was fast. Johnny, I could have probably passed him, but I wasn't going to mess up his race or my race by just pushing the issue too hard.
Oh, most definitely, but it was still an amazing performance on your part tonight, John. And going into the next race at Auto Club, how are you feeling? Because that track, you know, it's a very high-speed track with little to no banking whatsoever. Very bumpy at the same time.
Well, I've been working on some setups. We've got 7 that we're trying around. We'll be messing with them all this week. I don't know if I'm in the top 3, but I think I could be easily in the top 5, top 7. But still got some more tweaking to do. Changing around with the weather and stuff, just making sure everything's good.
Oh, copy that. Well, John, we look forward to seeing all that put into action at Auto Club Speedway next week. You're an amazing driver. And with that said, you have what it takes to spank these boys and make them enjoy your tail light decals. Also, one thing, like as we had promised you with the last interview, we will be keeping a check on D. LaBeouf, your wife. Tell us about how's the situation going. How's she doing?
Well, right now it's day to day. Her birthday is actually the 20th of this month, and she has a surgery the 21st, the day after. So keeping our fingers crossed. A lot of multiple injuries and surgeries that brought her to this point. I mean, right now she's on a feeding tube. I mean, everybody in PRL knows that, but just try to keep positive thoughts, try to keep her happy. That's the biggest thing. Keep mama happy, keep everybody happy.
Oh, absolutely. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if whatever you have, please donate to help the cause. D. LaBeouf, we will post the link in the chat here before too long. And if we can, we'll also put it there in the description. As promised by John, as usually is in our prayers, in our thoughts and prayers, even the viewers out there. So let her know we're thinking about her, and everything is going to be okay.
I greatly appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the shout out. Appreciate all the things that you guys do. I gotta say a big thanks to PRL, Gen X, Lit Motorsports. I mean, I could name off 6 or 7 more if I had them all wrote down, but I got quite a few guys standing behind me, especially PRL, and appreciate everything you guys do.
Well, John LaBeouf, congratulations on your success tonight. We look forward to seeing you back as well, back next week at Auto Club Speedway. And once again, buddy, know that everybody here is with you. We are with you 100%. D. LaBeouf as well, let her know we are thinking about her once again, and pass our greetings to her. And look forward to seeing you again next race.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
And that was 9/11 of John LaBeouf. And that rounds up top 3 interviews. Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, and John LaBeouf 1, 2, 3. Well, Dave, just like these drivers out there, I am drained both mentally and physically. So much beating and banging, and it ended up becoming a survivor race at the very end. The drivers trying to beat the track because that track was trying its best to claim them. And unfortunately, it was able to claim quite a few because we only had 8 drivers finish on the lead lap. But next week we are going to a high-speed track, high-speed bumpy track, Auto Club Speedway. Any thoughts there, Dave?
Well, I like my short tracks. It did not disappoint me. There was bumping and grinding going on. A lot of cars going to have a lot of damage they're going to have to fix throughout the week, getting ready for Auto Club. But I tell you what, I am ready for Auto Club, back to the high speed, high banking, so can't wait.
Most definitely, and in the whole entire race or entire field, only one driver came out with not a single scratch on that beast, and that was the 42 of Cody Knapmiller. But everybody had some kind of damage, even a little bit of a dent in the rear end, right side, left side, front end, anywhere. But Knapmiller not so much, and having his second win. Cody Knapmiller second place finish. John LaBeouf here, highest finish in 3rd place. Cotton Lane 4th, and Dale Robertson 5th. And once again, rounding up the top 5. And this was the Smash A Rama 200 by Austin Moore. Actually, one sec. We need to get would like to get an interview in with tonight's race sponsor, Austin Moore. Austin Moore, you gonna come up there, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you are tonight's race sponsor, the Smash A Rama 200. First of all, how are you doing tonight?
I'm a little tired, I gotta admit. I didn't race, but me and Jerome and Brandon helped us out with race directing, and I guess I sponsored the wrong race, or I guess I kind of jinxed myself for sponsoring the race and calling it the Smash Rama, because I guess I kind of jinxed myself and I got a lot of wrecks.
Well, funny enough, we had a viewer in the chat who pointed that out. It was named, they had the word Smash in it for a reason. But tell us about tonight's race, buddy. Tell us about tonight's race, the name of it, Smash-A-Rama.
I just named it just because I knew it was Martinsville, and I knew it was open setups, and maybe, or we switched open setups this year, and maybe it would be different from a fixed race. But I kind of just named it offhand, and Jerome had asked me, what do you want to name it? I was like, I might as well just name it Smash-A-Rama, because there's always a lot of wrecks at Martinsville or any short track. And then, what do you know, I become race director, and we had, I don't even know, I lost count after, like, once we got to, like, lap 80, how many cautions we had, and then how many times we had to extend cautions, because iRacing didn't keep up or something. So it was just a long, eventful night of reviewing stuff and just trying to keep up.
Oh, absolutely, man. I feel your pain as an admin, but it's very nice that you are taking time instead of racing out there with these guys, just staying up in the booth, keeping them in check and keeping everything fair, making sure everybody's having a lot of fun. And it does go unnoticed. So it's a very, very good thing you're doing. And Austin, last season there was a lot of competition, a lot of heavy competition, but it seems as though every season we keep getting better and better drivers. So how do you think it's looking for James O'Brien, defending champion?
I think James still can do well. Switching to open setups is, a totally different monster from fixed setups. But, James is one of those good drivers that can switch, from both. And, having an open setup, I think can help any driver. But I know that James has had 2 races now that he's kind of lagged out or lost connection from. One of them was because his power supply went out on his computer, and the other one was because his internet went out. So hopefully he can, climb back in the championship and hopefully, at least salvage it. Because we don't drop any races or anything like that from like some of the other leagues that I know do that, but we don't. You got 12 races and that's it. So, now he's only got 10 races because he's been dropped out of 2 of these. So, he's got a little higher mountain to climb than some of the other drivers, but competition is pretty stiff this year. I think with us expanding, we have a lot of good guys, and even us switching to open setups, and people are allowed, people that make setups have time now and can actually, work on them. And like Eddie Hawks, even though he had a decent finish tonight, he put in about 800 laps this week at Martinsville for his setup. Just him alone. So I know there was a lot of laps turned for just Martinsville. I know he's probably already turned 100, 150 laps at Auto Club. For us upcoming at Auto Club. So there's a lot of people out there testing and pre-tuning before we even get to tracks.
Oh man, that does explain. It explains a lot on how we have so many fast drivers and why the drivers are fast. It's all about that, all those laps they logged before the race, so they are very, very ready. And absolutely, man, the competition is getting nothing but stiffer and stiffer with every single season, every single race. And it now can become anybody's race or anybody's game all season long. So yeah, absolutely, fingers crossed for James O'Brien. He has had some bad luck that he talked about last week and this week, same with the connection. But I hope that everything picks up for him. Once again, Austin, thank you for taking the time to come up here and talking with us, and thank you for sponsoring tonight's race, the Smash-Erama 200.
No problem. Thanks, guys, for broadcasting. I know it's probably a long one for you guys, but thank you guys for doing it.
Oh, no worries, buddy. We had a very good time, and thanks for having us.
No problem. You guys have a great night. You too, Dave. Thank you, Dave. And Sean.
Thank you. And that was tonight's race sponsor, Eye in the Sky, the admin here at the Precision Racing League this season. He was the 09 last season. That's Austin Moore, tonight's race sponsor. Well, the next race will be next week, Auto Club Speedway, Phantom Zone Designs. Sponsored by Phantom Zone Designs. Last week's sponsor as well at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But the next race is going to be tomorrow night with the Extreme Motorsports 99 Pro Can-Am Series, the American Ethanol 225 at Chicagoland Speedway. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the cameras. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. And thank you for helping us cross the 380 subscriber mark. Because without you guys, we are nothing here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. We are nothing, but you guys make Dre Broadcasting Network what it is today. If you are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified every single time we go live, because we are live 6 nights a week. Different drivers, different leagues, different machines. Everything's different except for the excitement. Excitement stays nothing but high and gets higher with every single race. Once again, I'm Sean Zulu and David Everly. You are watching the Dre Broadcasting Network. Have a good night, and thanks for watching.